What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. I'll save the yapping for the end of the video, but just for context, I decided to make this channel because my wife inspired me to, and I thank her for inspiring me to get out of my comfort zone. I'm really not used to being behind a microphone, unless I'm playing games with friends, so this is a little bit new for me. I thought that this could be a great format because I pretty much read stories from Am I the A-Hole subreddit to my wife every single night before bed. She just likes hearing me read them, I guess. And she said, why don't you try and make videos doing that? I thought, well, I guess I will. And that's what I'm doing right now. But I'll save the backstory for the end. Let's just get straight into the stories. Alright, so this first story is titled, Am I the A-Hole? Husband cut off my son's hair, so I used his card to buy my son the designer jacket he's been wanting. That's an interesting title. My son's 17. Pretty much all his life, he's had long hair. He had long, thick, and very well-maintained black hair that went just past his chest, and he loved it. My husband, his stepdad, has never been a fan of it, and has always thought it was girly. What are we, in like the 90s? He's never been mean or cool about it to my son's face, but he said that he thinks he should cut it off. The two of them got into a huge fight because my son has been skipping classes. And my husband decided that to punish him, he was going to cut his hair. I don't know how it went down, but when I came home, my son was crying and cutting his own hair in the mirror. I asked him what was wrong and what he was doing, and he told me my husband had randomly cut his hair short in certain spots, and now he had to cut it really short to even it out and make it look okay. I went and spoke to my husband to find out the specifics of what happened from his side as well, and it ended up yelling because I don't agree with my son skipping class. I felt that cutting his hair over it was cruel and horrible when this could have been resolved another way. Yeah. To cheer up my son, I bought him this Affliction leather jacket. Oh my god. His jet black hair and his Affliction leather jacket. Is this a Wattpad story? She bought an Affliction leather jacket he's been wanting for a while with her husband's money. My husband found out and was furious, but I told him, you shouldn't have cut my son's hair, and he can do this as an apology. It's going to take years for my son's hair to grow back, but my husband can make that money back quickly. Am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole. What are you talking about? If you had to even ask that, this is a worse situation than you already realize, because you have someone who is not even the guy's biological father punishing him extremely aggressively. Like, I know that's not technically, like, he didn't hit him per se, but like cutting someone's hair is a pretty big and really traumatic thing, especially when they've been growing it for a long time and he had long hair. Let's read some of the comments. First one, you should divorce this man. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. If someone did that to my child, that would be it. The relationship would be over. He thinks it's okay to ignore someone's bodily autonomy. How do you like a taste of his own medicine? He would not like how I gave it to him. I don't know what that means. It sounds a little aggressive. I understand. Like, that's a pretty big line to cross, and I totally get how that's kind of hard to trust someone around your kid if they immediately do something like that when you turn your back. I also just don't like immediately saying to jump to divorce, because a lot of people just on these, forums immediately say, divorce them. But in this case, I'm not sure. I might agree with him a little bit, because that's pretty bad. I'm going to assume this is not the only time something has happened before, because it didn't. I'm pretty sure it didn't say how long they've been together. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about how long the parents have been together, if it's like a new marriage or what. But if it is new, then this is not a good sign of things to come. One person said, you are the a-hole for staying with your son's abuser. I can agree with that. That's pretty bad. I mean, if someone cut my hair, that would be bad. Like, I have short hair, but I mean, what the heck? Why would you cut someone's hair? Like, what's even the point? Because, like, that's just humiliating. That takes years to fix. You basically are making them go to school every day and hate how they look. Well, that's just stupid. Pretty much everyone says let me rephrase. People were not saying she was not the a-hole. They were saying she was the a-hole for not stepping up, protecting her son, and staying married to a man who abuses her kid. I'll agree with that. You need to kind of grow up and deal with it before it gets worse. I mean, I don't know how long they've been married, if it's new or what, but like, you can't be having someone do that to your kid. Like, that's just messed up. You're the a-hole and your husband is the a-hole. You're the a-hole for marrying your husband and subjecting your son to him. If you think your son did not know how your husband felt about his hair, you're wrong. If you think your husband didn't make comments about your son's hair to your son, you're wrong. Cheese and crackers lady, when you weren't around, your husband cut off your child's hair and you think your husband never said anything to your son? Seriously? Newsflash, your husband's been saying stuff to your kid for years, and his verbal abuse has just turned physical. Because yes, cutting your son's hair was physical assault. Buying your son a jacket does nothing to help here. Your son still lives with the person who physically assaulted him and never will trust him. Again, it doesn't say how long they've been married, which would be good context to know, but, either way, I might have to agree with the divorcing on this one. Because that's pretty bad. I mean, punishing a kid that's not even your biological kid like that aggressively is insane. And I don't know how long it's been going on. And if that is just the first time, it will not be the last time. And here's our next story. The title is, Am I the A-hole for wanting to continue taking my nightly showers? Interesting start. So me, 29, and my boyfriend, who is 28, have a 6-month-old baby who is exclusively breastfed. Every night she wants to be nursed to sleep, which is fine, but I also like to take a shower every night before going into bed. Sometimes after I get her to sleep, I'll do things before my shower, like do dishes, clean up a little, or whatever. But lately she's been waking up after about 45 minutes and crying and won't settle unless I get back in bed with her, we co-sleep, and put her on the boob. Sorry, I wasn't expecting that for some reason. It was just funny the way I phrased it. Tonight, I fed her and went right at the shower rather than doing my usual cleaning because I knew I had about 45 minutes, but his dog started barking at something and woke her up. I had to get out of the shower halfway to settle her. So now he's telling me I need to start showering during the day. And I can't shower at night because she always wakes up, but no one's here to help me during the day. So I feel like at night just makes the most sense. Yeah, you definitely don't want to shower while the baby's actively awake. That's kind of dangerous, I feel like. I also feel like he needs to learn how to settle her because it's not fair that all the responsibility is on me and I can't even take a freaking shower before bed. Anyway, am I being unreasonable? I want to continue to shower at night before going to bed, but I don't know if maybe I'm not being fair to him and our baby. When I first read that earlier today, based on the way it was phrased, I assumed that the husband was maybe a night shift nurse and wasn't there at night. And that's why she was having to do it at night, just because she didn't have time. But then she said no one helps her during the day. So I'm assuming he works during the day. What the heck is he doing during the day? Or during the night? Why is he not helping with the baby? I'm so confused. That sounds terrible. I'm actually going to be a father this year. Later this year. And I can assure you that I would immediately hear something if I was not being helpful, nor would I feel good about it, because that's just basically just laziness. So she's doing the dishes, cleaning, in her 45 minutes of free time during the whole day, with a 6-month-old baby, and after breastfeeding as well, which is exhausting for women, and then tries to get in the shower, and the husband says, you need to take it during the day. You don't have time anymore. Bro, get off your butt and do something. What are we talking about here? No, you're not the a-hole. Moms are basically on 24/7. It's not just you're just sitting there all day, waiting for them to come home and that you're doing nothing. The baby is very exhausting, which is why it's basically a full-time job to be staying at home with a baby, especially when they're that young. I mean, you got to watch them 24/7. What the heck is the guy doing? Yeah, every person in the comments is saying, what the heck is your husband doing? Why is he not spending time with your baby? This is just pretty cut and dry. I mean, he's pretty much being a child. You have 2 babies at home now, ma'am. But I am also kind of confused with the chores part. Why is he not coming home and doing chores as well? I get that, you come home from work and it's tiring and all that. I get it. I do that sometimes too when I'm coming home from work. I've been sitting in a freaking office just staring at the computer all day. My eyes hurt so bad. I don't want to do anything. I want to just sit down for a little bit. and there's chores to do and I get annoyed, sometimes I'll probably get a little bit snappy if I'm like in a really bad mood. And I know that I'm incorrect for that. I still go and do it though. Even if I complain for like 2 seconds. Like, I'm gonna get up and do the chores. But yeah, of course, he's gonna keep doing it if you just allow him to do whatever he wants. I mean, you're not doing anything to make him want to do chores. I mean, you just keep doing it for him whenever he wants, and he just sits around on his butt when he gets home. Someone said, these are the guys who quit their jobs or deliberately get fired when they move in with a woman. Apparently it's a thing. I've heard this term, but I've really never used it before, but hobosexual. Have y'all ever heard of that? Apparently hobosexual is when someone tries to basically grift off of a woman they're dating by not having to pay and just moving in with them and not getting a job but not doing anything either. It's just crazy. Yeah. I've never heard that term used until this year, but it's just kind of funny, so I thought I would bring that comment up. I mean, yeah, but this is pretty cut and dry. This guy needs to get off his butt and do some frickin' chores, man. At least do some chores and spend some time with your kid. Like, why'd you have a kid if you didn't want to spend time with the kid? Unless it was just a complete accident, and I don't know. In that case, you might need to do some counseling. The next story is titled, Am I the A-hole for not telling my housemate I'm moving out and taking everything with me? This is long, apologies in advance. Hey, we cool with that. I've lived with my 2 friends in a house, rented room by room, for 10 months. And around 3 months ago, 3 months into it, a girl we don't know moved in to fill the last room. So it's been 7 months since the girl moved in. I was initially excited to have another girl move in, as 2 of my friends are guys. So I greeted her first when she moved in, but my excitement was quickly dulled as her first words to me were not hello, but what are your plans to clean this place up? Okay, well, that's a good start. This annoyed me immediately as the place was in pretty good condition, but I explained the way we clean and tidy, clean up after ourselves with a weekly cleaning day, which happened to fall on the day after she moved in. So basically they were going to clean the next day, which was the weekly cleaning day. Interesting start to moving in with someone is to say, hey, what are you going to do to clean this place up? Perhaps maybe say your name? Moving forward, she showed her around, explaining what belonged to who, what was communal, etc., and let her settle in. But there was already problems the next day when we found out she'd used various things of ours to cook and then half-ass washed them, leaving dirty food and stains on our dishes and utensils. This happened a few times before one of my friends explained we didn't mind her using our stuff until she got her own, provided she actually cleaned it after. She then shouted at me for 15 minutes, even though I wasn't the one that brought it up, and said I was trying to look good in front of the boys, who've been my friends for years. Cue the laundry list of issues we've been facing over the past 7 months. She uses the clothes drying rack 5 days a week, not accounting for the other 3 of us in the house. Still won't clean our dishes, has cracked the wood on our chopping boards, using them as lids for hot frying pans. I didn't even know that was possible, guys. What the heck? Who uses a chopping board as a lid for a frying pan? What are we talking about? She leaves her hair all over the bathroom and kitchen floor, uses all of her freezer space, leaving me with none, leaves the microwave and air fryer dirty, leaves pee and period blood on the toilet seat, and takes my pads, tampons, razors, etc. without asking. What are we talking about? That's just, that's a hygiene problem. Obviously the dishes are bad because it's communal, but like, literally leaving blood in the bathroom. It cannot be sanitary. And taking your stuff without asking, already bad. These are a quarter of our grievances, which we've tried to address, and only for her anger to be directed solely at me. Makes sense. Makes sense. You're the only person there who's a girl, so it's all your fault. Joking, of course. The house has never been in worse condition, and her only solution is to complain at us for the mess. 90% of it is obviously hers. Then ask us to send her money to buy cleaning products. We have plenty. And then not helping with the weekly clean. Yes, you definitely trying to take y'all's money for sure, and probably not do good things with it if I'm being completely honest based on what you've said. Me and my other 2 housemates have been looking for a reason to leave. and I just got a new job opportunity. So we took this chance to find a 3-bedroom flat to rent as a whole and are moving in next week. The thing is that 90% of the things in this house are bought by us. We're taking the toaster, microwave, kettle, drying rack, air fryer, our pots and pans, the iron, Hoover, and much more. I didn't know what a Hoover was, or if that was some kind of terminology that I'm missing from a region. It's Hoover vacuums, like the brand of vacuums, I think. I've never heard it just called a Hoover, though. Like, I just call it a vacuum. But that's kind of funny. I didn't know that was a thing. Pretty much all our communication with her is now through me, as the boys refuse to talk to her for various other reasons. I'm curious what that other reasons would be. Probably something inappropriate. So I've decided to not even bother letting her know and let her find out when A, she notices people coming for viewings, or B, the moving van arrives. We didn't expect her to buy things we already use communally, but she's maybe twice ever contributed to this household financially, so she can deal with buying her own stuff and learn to clean up by cleaning her own messes. Am I the a-hole for not telling her? Before I get to the comments, let's read the edits, because probably provides important context. Edit 1. As it's a room-by-room renting situation, she will not have to leave or experience an increase in rent or bills, and the landlord is the person organizing viewings. Okay, good, because it's like a room-by-room rent, so you don't, you're not screwing her over financially by doing that. Edit 2. I'm not worried about taking my things, obviously. I paid for them, and same goes for the guys. This is about the fact that she will not be aware that there will be next to no household basics or furnishing until they're gone. Let's read some of the comments here. No, you're not the a-hole, but I strongly recommend you go ahead and remove anything that is important to you and that she uses regularly and store it somewhere temporarily until move-out day so that she figures it out. She can't mess with things that you truly value. She sounds petty and like someone who try and sabotage your stuff or take things. 1000%. You gotta hide the stuff that's important to you, because I mean, you don't know if this obviously they've lived with her for a little bit. They don't know her that well, but I mean, she might quote unquote accidentally break something out of spite just because she knows y'all are moving out and leaving her. But I don't know, moving stuff out, that just kind of makes it harder for everyone. But if you got to do what you got to do, she's breaking stuff too. I mean, she broke the cutting boards. Have y'all ever used a wooden cutting board as a frying pan top? I've literally never heard of that. Like, who's out here doing that? Most frying pans come with tops, or you can get one of those like mesh covers instead. What the heck? I've never heard of that, but apparently it splits it in half, so don't do it. Don't try this at home, kids. I would 1000% get my stuff that's important out of there. Just go ahead and move it or bring it to your room or whatever, because it does not sound like she's respecting it anyways. She's definitely going to try and take something. I can tell you that for sure. It sounds like she definitely takes things without asking, and she catches wind that you're moving out. She's taking the frickin' toaster and putting it in her room. Oh, I don't know where that went. Yeah. We know where this goes. I've seen some situations like this. I used to be an RA in college, and I've seen some funny for me at least, not for the people that live there, rooming situations. I was, it's kind of a smaller college, but the male RAs would often get asked to help move any roommates that were, or people who were moving to different rooms in the women's dorms and all that. So they would get us to, like unloft the beds. They could bring the lofting equipment to the next room or whatever it is, just help them move heavy stuff. And 90% of the time when they would ask us that, we'd walk in there and open the door and immediately see tape on the ground separating the room in half. It killed me I tried not to laugh every single time. It was so funny because the parents are in there and they're taking it so serious, and like, I don't know exactly the situation happening. Like, they don't tell you beforehand, like, this is what happened in this room and this is what, like, they just tell you to go move stuff. So I'm just thinking they can't learn how to keep each other's stuff, respectably, or wash, same stuff you hear in here, washing utensils, like whatever it is. But there was no sinks or anything, so it's like, even that, like, what exactly happened here? It's just so funny because the roommate will sometimes be in there just watching us move the girls' stuff out. And they like hate each other. And you're like, this is so awkward, kind of, for people who are not aware of what's going on. But you can't crack up because it makes them more mad if you're laughing at how mad they are. I mean, it was just funny. That being said, I haven't been in a situation where I've had to do this. I know that not really many times where someone's necessarily taken anything or not been respectable. Sometimes things will get dirty in rooms, especially with guys. I mean, guy roommates are pretty commonly known to not be the cleanest. But I think the main thing would be communicating with your roommates or suite mates or people you share a bathroom with. I actually lived with my best friend for a while, and the main thing that we wouldn't necessarily get in a fight over, but would have different views on, was that he was kind of like a clean the bathroom every week person. And, my house has never really been like that. When I was growing up, it was kind of every other week or every 3 weeks or whatever. We'd have like a certain day we'd do it, but we weren't like constantly cleaning it. I guess that he likes a really, really clean bathroom, and I just wasn't used to that. But we just talked about it and communicated openly that that's what we wanted to do, and that's what he was wanting as well, and we adjusted. I mean, it wasn't that hard. We just talked about it, and that was it. I still have problems with my clothes overflowing. My wife gets a little bit upset with me, but apparently she has the same problem, so we were made to be together, I guess. But yeah, you got to talk to your roommates. You got to communicate, and if they're not listening, you just got to go move somewhere else. Maybe some people just are not built to have roommates. Some people are not built to be roommates. It just depends. You really just got to know the people you're living with and know their kind of living styles and see if that aligns. But anyways, this person's not the a-hole. That's weird, especially the stealing your stuff part and leaving blood in the bathroom. Our last story today is titled, Am I the a-hole for getting pregnant without considering my roommate's feelings? Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. I'm living with a friend in a 2-bedroom apartment in a major city. We have separate bathrooms. She also lives in the master, and we split the rent evenly. Okay, well, she's getting a really good deal there, because normally the person in the master pays more. I have a long-distance partner, and I recently discovered I am pregnant very early on. The current lease we are in ends on June 30th, and I asked my friend/roommate if she would be down to do a month-to-month lease for a few months after our lease ends until I get closer to my due date, and then I would move in with my parents. My parents live in another major city that is about a 3-hour commute from my workplace, where I work in person twice a week, so understandably, I wouldn't want to be doing this commute longer than I have to. That's a long commute. Holy cow, 3 hours is insane, especially when you're pregnant. My roommate said she does not want to do month to month, and I said that's totally fine. I would just move down there in July when our lease is up. Today, my roommate informed me that she is not comfortable living with me until our lease ends because she did not sign up to be responsible for someone who is pregnant and trying to start a family, and therefore I needed to pay to break our lease so she wouldn't have to live with me for the next 3 months. Whoa. Yeah, that's a no-go. You're not going to tell someone else to pay for breaking the lease when you're uncomfortable. But we'll keep going. I asked in what way we are sharing a wall, or in what way is me sharing a wall with her for the next 3 months as per our lease would impact her in any way, given that I have not asked for any support in my pregnancy so far. She said it did not matter that I was not relying on her for support, as she had to advocate for herself, and she didn't want the responsibility of living with someone who's pregnant, because what if something goes wrong? She also mentioned the possibility of my mom or a friend taking me to appointments, and therefore forcing her to be a part of this. She said she was very upset that I not considered her feelings and what she was forced to be a part of when getting pregnant, and that it was my responsibility to pay for all the costs associated with breaking the lease as early, as I'm the one who changed the terms of us living together. Yeah, she definitely planned to do that, considering she said immediately, completely surprised, had no idea. Completely your fault for getting pregnant, jerk. She goes on to say, to be clear, I am not, nor have I ever asked her to live with me close to my delivery or after I give birth, just to end our lease on June 30th, at which point she would be 4 months pregnant. What? That's not even that big of a deal. She said this was unfair and selfish ask of me, and she was disappointed I didn't have the capacity to put myself in her position and think about how my pregnancy would affect her. She does have previous trauma relating to pregnancy that did not end up going to term, to be fair. Okay, well that adds a lot of context right there. That makes a lot of sense. That sucks. That's terrible. That's like my greatest fear right now, actually, my wife being pregnant is, something going wrong with that. Probably won't, but that's just terrible to have that happen. So I understand why she's feeling that way. Let's see if there's more context. I told her I was okay with never mentioning my pregnancy to her or asking anything of her. She insisted it is unfair of me to ask that we finish our lease through June 30th because I will still be pregnant and it will be so hard for me to move in June. So therefore, I have to pay thousands of dollars to break the lease early. Am I the a-hole for asking to finish out our lease for the next 3 months and forcing my roommate to coexist with me while I'm in early pregnancy, given I did not consider how this would affect her and her potential liability, or the potential liability she would have if I lived with her while pregnant? Alternatively, am I the a-hole here for asking that we split the cost of breaking the lease, given she is the one that no longer wants to live with me? She should be paying it herself, but let's get with the edits first. Edit 1. My partner and I were not long distance when we first started dating, but he's currently living out of state working and finishing his MSc. He has a 3-year contract with his current job that ends next June and has already made arrangements to work and study remotely part-time close to my due date / after the baby is born. I also wanted to clarify that when I asked if she'd be willing to continue our lease month to month after June 30th, I meant for a month or two, not all the way up to my delivery date. And when she said she wasn't comfortable with doing so, I accepted her no and didn't press, as I completely understood. I just never foresaw her having such an issue with just writing out our lease for the next 3 months. Edit 2. His pregnancy was unexpected. Yep. And unplanned. You jerk, how dare you unexpectedly get pregnant while I live with you? You absolute jerk. And she found out she was pregnant on Sunday. I don't know exactly when this is posted. This is posted 5 days ago, so last week. She found out a few days before. I've been weighing the options whether to terminate or continue the pregnancy given the situation. My partner and I decided to move forward with the pregnancy, but that isn't something I share with my roommate yet, and certainly won't now. So as far as roommate is concerned, she doesn't even know I will be pregnant 3 months from now. What? Okay, that second edit is nuts. Are you joking? I hope she didn't say she was deciding whether to terminate because of the roommate being uncomfortable. That's ridiculous. You should not... obviously I'm having kids, so I'm a little biased when it says I love, kids, and that's my mission in life is to be a father. Like, I think that everyone should have one if you want to. And then if you want to be a parent, definitely go for it. It's a kind of a touchy subject to some people I know. Like it seems like her roommate has past trauma with it, and that is totally understandable. But you can't really get mad at someone for being pregnant around you. Like, people are pregnant in the world everywhere. Like, you can walk around the park and see a pregnant lady. Are you gonna tell her, "Stop looking so happy. You're harshing my vibe, lady"? Like, no, that's not how it works. I've heard a few people say to my wife that it's hard to be around her because they're having issues with that. And that's totally understandable if you feel that way inside, but you don't need to tell them that it's their fault. Like, it's never the person's fault who is just being happy and living their life normally. It's all, not being harsh, but it's truly the person's fault who feels that way, because you can control how you feel. You can't control other people's actions that are completely oblivious to how you feel. And they're not going to go around doing everything, stepping on eggshells, because they don't want to hurt your feelings potentially. But you can completely control how you feel. That sucks for the roommate as well, having that past trauma, but she needs to go, have some therapy, maybe get some help involving that, and see if she can move past that trauma. I know that that's hard, and you really never move past anything technically, but definitely get some help, because that's not your fault for having a kid. Like, is she never going to be around people who have kids because she has trauma around it? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's so stupid. Most of the comments are saying, her not wanting to do month to month, totally fair. She kind of touched on that in the edit. Her thinking you needed to factor her emotions in are way out of bounds. Definitely not the a-hole. She wants the lease broken. She can pay to do it. I agree. You definitely can't just tell someone, I'm uncomfortable being around you because you're pregnant and have, happiness in your face. So you need to pay a few $1,000s to break our lease early. On top of that, you're about to be paying for a baby and your whole life is going to change and you're going to need as much money as possible, much savings as possible. You're going to be having all these medical exams going on. Yeah, how about you pay a few $1,000s out of your pocket? It's not like you need it or anything. Like, what are we talking about? This is like the most main character thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, you need to accommodate to me. No, that's just not how it works. And it was completely unplanned. It wasn't even intentional. So, like, poor poster is not at fault at all. It just makes me sad that they said they were considering even terminating the pregnancy just because of the situation. I mean, that sucks that you even had that thought in your mind. I really hope that doesn't continue that way, because parenthood's a beautiful thing. Hopefully everything goes great with that pregnancy. Not too bad, not too sick, because my wife's been so sick right now, just constantly feeling nauseous. So hopefully she won't be having that too bad. And moving out at only 4 months pregnant is not that bad. Like, you can get your boyfriend, is a husband or boyfriend? Let me go check back again. Partner. She said partner. So I'm assuming that means probably just boyfriend, or they're just, life partners, whatever that means. That's just crazy that, she thinks that you're not going to be able to move. I mean, you can get people to help you move. You can get movers. Like, it's not that hard. She's just making excuses. She wants you to pay to break the lease because she doesn't want to be responsible or have to deal with her emotions. And the only way to deal with your emotions is to go through them, not around them. I know that's really basic, but a lot of people don't do it. That being said, that's our final story for today. And since we're at the end of the video, I'll share a little bit about why I wanted to start this channel. I saved the yapping for the end. So, my wife told me that she loves when I read to her. She said I have a nice voice for reading. I don't know if that's true. That's up to you to decide. But I've really been feeling the classic Minecraft pull, where you have that 2 weeks where you're like, I'm going to go crazy in this new world. But I really want to have a forever world. I've heard so many people talk about how they have worlds that last, like 10 years. Unfortunately, all my old worlds are on my parents' PC at home, which, I could have the render distance on like 2 when I built those. But a lot of them got cut out. But I've started a new world, which is what you've been watching this whole time. I'm going to start working on that world gradually as I do these videos and show you some gameplay in the background, just to have something to look at and have some chill gameplay. If you have any build requests, I'm definitely down to try something. I'm not a builder by any means. I'm not some crazy architect. I have a business degree, so I really don't know what I'm doing when it comes to building. I mostly make caves, so you'll probably see me doing a lot of caving. But, if you like this, I'm definitely down to keep doing it. I enjoy reading these. I really have fun doing it, and I thought maybe I'll just give this a try and see if people enjoy it. So let me know in the comments if you enjoy it, or if you have any specific ones that you want me to read for next time. Definitely feel free to shoot those in the comments as well, and I'll go over those. But thank you for watching, and I guess we'll see you next time.